Hello everyone, Sire here, and thank you so much for joining me. This is my 10 cards for Spellbinders June 2021 card kit. Um, this one is a little different than the last one. The last one was the beach theme, and I found that one to be quite easy to work with. Everything just matched so perfectly, where this kit, although amazing, was a little more challenging for me. I just found some pieces were harder to match, in particular the ice cream pieces. Um, I will say that you may be hearing the fan in the background. That is because we have hit extreme heats in the past few days, um, about 40 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's too hot for me, and so you will notice that I've been making a few mistakes in this video, making my cards, and I honestly believe it's because I was making cards while trying not to pass out. it's, I just love doing it so much, right? So that you torture yourself. But no, it's all for fun. But it is extremely hot, so you will hear me um, trying to talk over this fan that I have sitting right next to me, trying to keep me cool as I um, voice over. The card kit definitely has some really cute elements into it, especially the animals. The animals is my favorite part of this kit. The zebra, the chameleon, the giraffe, the lion, the cheetah, the leopard, they're all amazing. Um, I really love this kit, but it was a challenge, to say the least. Uh, I did, for this card number one, use one of the journaling cards, and what I've done is I've just added to it. So there's already a sentiment on it that's printed. I decided to add one more sentiment strip on top of it. Um, and then just to give it a little more dimension so it's not so flat, I'm going to use the die cut that matches what's printed on the journal card, but on a bigger scale. And I'm going to lift that up and put it over top. Because I know it already looks good because the journal card had it. So I knew it was a safe bet that if I were to put it on top, it's going to look good. So that is card number one. I will be doing a lot of chit-chatting. So just because, I mean, I can explain exactly everything I'm doing, but if you're already watching it, you may not really need me to explain. So I enjoy just talking. It's just what I like to do. In this card, I was inspired by that pattern paper. It really makes me think of a waffle cone. And so this is one of the pattern papers that is ice cream inspired. But like I said, there was no ephemera or die cuts that had this ice cream theme. So I decided to use that blue confetti paper as an ice cream. That is the premise of this card design. I did decide to cut it down, the waffle paper, on an angle because I just wanted something. I'm not a big fan of symmetrical. I like to break the rules, card-wise, pattern-wise. I just like to go. You'll always see me try to break the rules and see if it looks good. And in this case, I did. I put it askew, more to the left, and then I trimmed it down. And I did mat it with a piece of the pink cardstock that came in the kit. I always have a hard time with plain paper. I don't know if anyone else has this problem, so definitely leave a comment if you have any suggestions. But I find that when I use plain paper, it sticks out like a sore thumb, with the exception of black, and maybe white, gray. Okay, the shades. But when you use pink, if you can tell, there is maybe a 1/16 of an inch matte, because I find that if you put too much solid, it just doesn't look good to me. And I don't know if it's just my eyes or if other people have that feeling too. I really struggle, and I know that with card kits, I've had a few now. Scrapping for Less, Simon Says, and this one, that I don't often use the solid cardstock because of that reason. I just don't. It never seems to look good. So for this card, because I don't have ice cream, I am just going to make it a birthday card. I'm not a fan of the sentiment. I love the sentiment, sorry, but I like it to be a square or a rectangle or a banner. Um, I'm not a big fan of the blob cutout effect, but I've seen people use them and they love them, so I will love them on their. I'll let them love them on my behalf, or how's that go? Either way, I'm going to use it because I have it, and I hope you enjoy it. It is a happy birthday sentiment, and it does match the balloons and the other pieces on the card. And I'm going to prop that up with some foam tape. And then I'm just going to add some hearts just to spread some of the design across the card so it's not so lopsided. And that's card number 2. For card number 3, I did off camera cut my pattern paper, there's 2 of them, into 2 pieces. I believe the bottom piece is 1 inch by, or I should say 4 inches by 1 inch, I believe. But I didn't measure, I just cut. So that's kind of how I do my cards. I should actually do a video to showcase how I make my cards, just so that you can understand the process, because there's a lot that goes behind the scenes, and that's why it takes me forever to make cards. But usually, to give an idea, I will go through the paper pad and I will just take the pieces that catch my eye, and then I will tear them out and I'll cut them down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then I start playing around and seeing how it looks. So in this case, I took those 2 pieces, and I had already cut out all the dies. I love the die cuts, the dies that came in this kit. I think it said celebrate, happy birthday, big thanks, and hello. And I cut them all out with the gold foil, and then I had those sitting aside to use. And so when I was looking through the pattern paper, these 2 pieces caught my eye. I ripped them both out, and then I laid the celebrate on top of them, and I kind of moved the paper up and down to see how it looked. And then I just cut. So I didn't necessarily measure with a ruler, only my eyes. And I gauge all my cards on my eyes. If it catches my eye, I will most likely glue it down. So if you see me do something and you're like, oh, I don't know, well, just so you know, my eye for that split second loved it. I may not agree afterwards when I'm doing a voiceover. Many times I have to bite my tongue and like, what the heck was I thinking, and blame it on the heat, So, but that's usually how it goes. This one also, the inspiration was actually not the Celebrate die, it was the giraffe and the banner. I absolutely love that giraffe, and I just thought it would be so cute putting a banner wrapping around its neck. And then so everything fell into place because of that giraffe. To finish this card, I am just going to pop that flag up, and I don't like where I put it, so I'm just going to quickly move it before it sets, and I'm just going to put it a little closer to the giraffe, have it kind of flying up there, and it is lifted just on the one side to give it some depth. Love this card, so cute. Okay, card number 4, we have another pinkish card. This kit is definitely more on the pinks. There was not much I could do to make a masculine card. I will say I tried, and I did create, I believe, 2 that you will see coming up. This video is a little bit on the brighter side. I'm sorry. You'll notice that the pieces will just disappear because the light is so bright. I am in the middle of trying to sell my condo and buy a home. And so my mom was very gracious to allow me to record in her home. So I quickly set everything up to continue recording and making cards. So I definitely did not set everything up properly. And this is going to be kind of what it's like until I figure out what I'm going to be doing. For this card, like I said, is another pink card, but I want to use another one of those awesome border dies that came in this kit This one says hello. And I use them to separate two pattern paper pieces of paper because it works so well. If you have two busy pieces of pattern paper, use one of these type of dies. It will almost guarantee create a separation that looks amazing, especially with this gold paper that came in this card kit. To kind of finish off this card, I am going to scavenge through the die pieces that are in the pack and find pieces that have the same color scheme as the pattern paper with the animals. So that's the pinks, peaches, and yellows. So that's the heart banner that I just strategically placed underneath so that it was kind of cut off where the banner's covering. The yellow balloon heart. And then I'm going to take some chipboards, the lion, and a little heart to put on there. You will not see me put adhesive glue on that lion or heart, but off camera, just so you know, when I went to show this card, the lion did fall off. So I highly recommend to always add adhesive glue to these chipboards because I don't think they stick very well. Not like the puffy stickers. Speaking of the puffy stickers, this is how I finished this card. I decided to take one of these awesome little puffy stickers that says love ya and stick it there like the lion is saying it. I love these little stickers. I try to use them on all the cards. Okay, so card number 5. I am going to use the journal card again, and this one says a life full of little joys. And I do make the little mistake of, because I've already had it kind of pre-planned what I wanted to do, but when I hit the record button, I put everything to the side, and then the trick is trying to remember what did I actually want to do. In this case, I actually wanted to put the journal card down first before this waffle pattern paper. Before the waffle pattern paper, there we go. And that's just because I wanted it down further. But I forgot to do that, and you'll see me try to lift up the paper once I realize, but I don't want to rip it, so I just go with it. And I guess that's what I would say about this card is that, well, first of all, it gets worse. But when you start making mistakes, it's okay. Because you potentially may end up with a card that's just as nice. So that you can see me trying to lift up the paper. So all I did was just like, you know what? I'm just going to glue this down and just be happy with what I have. The only reason I wanted it a little bit down further was just because I wanted to see more of the number pattern paper at the top, but it's not a big deal. I am going to put the little leopard down, and this is really cute. I was playing around with all the die pieces, and when I was placing them down, I noticed that the lion head was behind one of the ferns, the one I'm using right now. And it just looks so cute, like it's hiding behind the plant, ready to surprise the pink leopard. I thought that was so cute. It wasn't a plan. It's just when I was looking through all the pieces, I saw that, and I immediately knew I wanted to make a card using it. And so that's why I love this kit. It's just, there's so many things you can do, and everyone's going to create something different. So I'm getting close to the next big, huge problem that I did. I got this card all nice and beautiful. I loved it. I was checking to see if there's anything else I can put on it. And then I decided, let's just do a nice, simple, pink little fishtail banner. I thought that would be a nice way to conclude this really cute birthday card or a celebration of some sort. So once I glue that down, I go to show the camera how happy I am, and I realize I put it on backwards. So I sat there for a bit thinking about it. Oh, should I just cut it? But the thing is, this base, I don't have many of them. There's only 10 of them. So I'm like, no, let's see if I can undo it. Luckily, I only used 3 strands of that double-sided adhesive. If I had used my art glitter glue, this would not come off and I would wreck the card. So I was very lucky, and I double checked to make sure that it wasn't damaged all the way through. It's still good. I'm just going to glue this with some of my other liquid glue and make sure that it is on there the right way. And putting that down, make sure nothing is lifting, just kind of really carefully putting it down, make sure no glue gets anywhere. Thumbs up, all is good, card is saved. Very lucky. Oh, I was panicking. Okay, I think this is card number 6 now, I said. This is my first attempt on a masculine card. Um, it was a little tricky because there's not many pieces. So what I did was I love this green paper, and it looks amazing on this black cardstock. I can't remember if I mentioned I'm not a big fan of using the solid cardstock. My recording crashed 3 times, so I keep repeating, so I'm not sure what I've actually said. But the black looks amazing. And so on that green paper, I did that, and then I grabbed all the black, gold, and green pieces, and then I just start playing. One of the die cuts is this frame. It has a center, and I took the center out because I just wanted the black frame. And then I put it over top of one of the pattern papers that has a bunch of sayings on it. And then I cut that out so that we have some nice, just some texture. It's just the whole beauty of this card kit that I'm realizing is you just layer a bunch of stuff together, and it just, with anything like tags or using the pattern paper sentiment or pattern colors or all the different little pieces that normally don't go together on their own, or they don't necessarily go together as a cohesive theme, but look really cute. And there was this one die, you can see the little guy, the little chameleon. When I opened up this kit first, that was one of the ones next to the draft that I'm like, oh, I got to figure out how to use this. The little strips that I'm adding on now, that was because I trimmed my background paper an eighth of an inch more because I was going to mat it on the black. So I want to reuse these. I did this style on the last card kit, and I really like it. It doesn't mean anything, and that's what I love. It's just little designs that you just adding to. Some people may say it's really busy. My partner does. Sometimes is always asking, where's the focal point? Like, where am I supposed to look? And I'm like, everywhere. Like that. I just love it. And so that's the way I like doing this. You can try to make it as simple as you want. You could just have a sentiment on the middle of that card and not worry about all the collaging and everything. But I like to do it. I like to see what I can create. I also, once again, break the rules of keeping things symmetrical and straight, and I decide to put this on an angle. And then I put my happy birthday die right across to separate the top and the bottom. In this case, I am not using 2 pieces of pattern paper, it's all one, but it's still a border across, and I flush it right across the whole frame on the bottom. I was going to put the chameleon on the bottom, but it was definitely kind of getting lopsided, so I decided to move it to the top, and I thought that was just so cute, having the chameleon just sitting there. Once again, I do get the little puffy stickers. These are so cute. I just love the feel and love the color, and so everything needs to say something. And so I just find one that matches. I can't read what it says, but it's beyond cute. Okay, so card number 7. I am trying to use more of the gold scrap paper. These scraps are from when I was cutting the 4 different border dies. And I just don't want to waste it because it is heavy duty, it's awesome, it's beautiful. Like it hurts me to see myself throw it away. So what I try to do is use it as much as possible. Actually, if I had my hole punch with me, at my mom's I should say, I would have done that. I would have hole punched it in different sizes for more scrap use. You'll see what I kind of do instead, not on this card, but a different one. Just not to waste it. But In this case, I am taking a piece of blue cardstock. Sadly, this is a kind of a waste. I don't have my scrap paper with me, once again, because I'm at my mom's. So I just used a piece of blue cardstock from the kit. And the reason I did this is because the gold cardstock is thick. And so I didn't want the center to dip in. So I take a piece of the cardstock, and that gives it some lift. Now, when I glue that all on, you're not going to see any sagging. For this card, I did have an image in my head, and not all the time does it pan out. It doesn't always work. But I love these puffy stickers, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to put the random sentiments or the speech bubbles across this word pattern paper. I thought it would just be neat, like if there was a bunch of things talking. I think the idea is cute, but it got lost. So I decided to grab the black chipboard one and have that, because it's so bold, as the center focal point. And I then added the zebra to show that this zebra is what's saying it. And then all these other ones are kind of like whispers or people in the background that are also saying things like hello. And they kind of match the words that are on the pattern paper. Once again, I have such a small screen, I can't read what these little bubbles are saying, but I try to pick ones that match the pattern paper. I then decided to just put them all on the bottom so that all the speech bubbles are coming below, as if the zebra is in the front and all the people are behind the scenes and they're all saying something. And then I still felt like the zebra was getting lost, so I was trying to find a die cut that would go behind and look okay. I also didn't want to add too many colors, so I started realizing that, okay, I have too many colors going on. I have the pattern papers, I have these speech bubbles, and now I have the zebra with the hearts, and it's just becoming one of these messes where it's too much. My eye was not happy. Then I started looking at the scrap pattern paper, and I thought, well, this combination is really cute on its own, but in this case, it's not working for me. I may have to remember this because I love it. Then I grabbed a piece of scrap of the exact same pattern paper as the background, the blue confetti one, and I said, okay, this is the one. This is looking good. It's a nice separation. It's flowing from top, middle to bottom. I don't need to add anything more. Just this one little piece, and it's breaking everything up nicely, at least in my eyes. I cut out a lot of this video because this process actually took quite a long time to plan this one. It didn't turn out the way that my mind originally thought it, but that's okay. I still got a cool card that just uses some different fun elements, and and maybe the next one I make will finally get that design out of my head, but it wasn't the time this time. But I'm happy with that card. Okay, I tried to make a second masculine card, and then I ended up adding pink because not that there is anything wrong with pink as a masculine card. I personally think colors are amazing, but a lot of people disagree with me, so I don't know. Some people love the traditional blue is for boys, pink is for girls. I strongly disagree. I think everyone deserves every color. Every color has its place, but I think a little different than a lot of people. With this card, I had made a little mistake. Once again, many things. It was really, really hot in that room by the time I was working on this card. I wasn't thinking clearly. The design that I wanted is now too high. It was supposed to be more in the center, and because I really loved this alligator with the balloons. But what happened was when I put it all back down, I kind of moved it up too high, and now there's a big gap on the bottom, and I didn't have a sentiment that would go well with that because a lot of the sentiments are just black and white. And it got lost on this card. All my inks are at home, so I wasn't able to distress anything. So what I did was I took a piece of that scrap paper and I'm just going to add some gold to it. This is the scrap gold paper once again. But the piece was also not long enough. And so I actually had to use two pieces. And then of course now I got to add more die cuts to hide these that seam. Also, with all this happening, what you're not seeing on the scene, not seeing because I cut it all out, my glue bottle seemed to have reached a peak of temperature that it didn't want to be contained, and it was creating a pressure. So it was actually bursting. Every time I took the lid off, it would pop, it would blow out. And I was getting so much glue. In fact, that was another reason why I had moved things strategically where they are, because so much glue was on that pattern paper. And if you're familiar with this kit, this pattern paper is paper thin. It's printer paper. And so it was warping fiercely. And so much so that when I was rubbing it down, it was starting to rip because it was so wet and so gooey. So I was kind of like, after this card, I took a break before I finished the rest of my cards. It was so hot. Like I said, if I recorded earlier, it was hitting about 40 degrees Celsius, and that is so abnormal for this area of Canada. Anyways, I love the card. It's still really, really sweet. It's not masculine anymore in the sense of masculine cards, and it's has lots of pink and little hearts, and just added that little tag to hide the imperfections. And here's where I didn't have my hole punch, so what I decided to do was create irregular dots. No one says you have to have perfect circles. They're nice, but you don't have to. And so what I did was I just created some circles using my scissors and just roughly cutting them. And if there's any peaks, I kind of smooth them out. But I like the rough circles. It just created something nice, and I just added them along the card. To redeem myself, I decided to try to create a masculine card with black, with the black cardstock. So these are the scraps that I was using for previous cards, and I wasn't actually planning on making a masculine card in this case. Well, oh, did you catch that? It did it again. I almost made my card upside down. Anyways, yeah, so I'm just trying to get that glue off of that card because I put it on upside down. But this wasn't meant to be a masculine card. It's just what happened was I had all the scraps from my previous cards laying on top of each other, and then I realized, oh, let me look through all the die cuts because I think I saw some gold hearts that had black on them. And so I grabbed all the die pieces that had black and gold and white. So that is my inspiration for this card. So because of that, I am not putting any pattern paper to cover the whole back. I'm going to keep this one fairly simple. I am going to glue this guy, or sorry, this sentiment. This is the last one that I cut, and it's called Big Thanks. And I'm going to use it as my divider border on the bottom. I'm just going to trim that off. And I really love that gold Big Thanks on the black cardstock. I am so happy I got black cardstock on this kit because it is sharp. It is beautiful. I'm not sure if a lot of people like it. For me, I love black for just making things pop. I've had people not really like my cards because I put black sentiments on a really pretty card and they say it doesn't go, but to me it does. I just love it. It's just the style I enjoy. And you know what? To each their own. We all have what we like, and we all have things that we don't care for, but it doesn't make it any less of a card. So enjoy what you enjoy. That's it's so important. So that is it. That simple, clean card for number 9. For card number 10, I am going to create another pink card. I was just so determined to try to make an ice cream card. I'm honestly very disappointed that they teased me with all this ice cream, pattern paper, waffle cone paper, and ice cream truck, and that is all I can work with. Even the cake doesn't look like an ice cream cake. It's really silly, um, but you know what? It just makes for fun because it gets you or it gets me trying to make something different. And that's what I keep saying this. This is what I love about these card kits. Um, Once again, um, I am going to go offset with the waffle cone. I just really like that design, but it was not on purpose. At this point, I'm starting to wonder: is it really the heat that's causing me to make so much mistakes, or do I just make mistakes? But I was trying to do something, and I cut the paper wrong, and I cut that corner of what I glued to the right hand side. I cut it off. I'm like, what am I doing? So I'm like, okay, well let's go with it and see what happens. And that's exactly what I did, pretty much live. If I was streaming this, you would have seen what I did. And so I'm like, you know what? Let's just glue it to the right hand corner, and we'll create a different design. Um, if I don't do this, if I don't do me and the way I make cards, pretty much every card would end up being the same concept. Because I would always just cut my card, my pattern paper, 4 by 5 1/4, and I would put it in the center. I would add some pieces, and then every card would be the same. It's this playing around and making mistakes that actually create the different cards. So if you see something that's really out there, it most likely was a mistake while I was off camera, and I didn't want to waste the paper, so I say, let's see what I can create. Like, what is the worst that can happen? I have a card that I can throw away or give it, or someone can use it. It's art, right? It's a different type of art, and someone will always like it. It is almost impossible, almost impossible to create a card that the whole world hates. I just can't see it. There always will be someone who likes something. It's just the way it works, and that's what keeps me inspired to keep going, um, because I am the worst critic. I'm assuming we all are, um, but I say these things because I deal with them, and I really, really, really want people to just have fun. Um, we always try to be so perfect, and it's nice when it happens, but when it doesn't happen, we can get discouraged. So, whenever I can fit it in, I like to say, just do it, enjoy it, love everything you do, and if it doesn't turn out, just think about how someone will like it, right? So you don't need to beat yourself up. It's just for fun, and so just keep at it. It's okay. One thing I do like to use with these cards is I like to add these little dots. These are the dots that come from like the gift tags, and I collect them. I keep them aside, and then I just add them, so I don't waste them. And it just adds a nice little touch to these cards. So this card's pretty much all over the place. Just a bunch of sentiments and dies and stuff that I like to. I thought all looked nice together, collaging it together, and that's my ice cream card. Okay, so here is my cards, all 10 in slower motion, just to give you a nice little close-up peek of everything, because I did move pretty quickly. I did it 3 times fast just to get it down to 36 minutes. I love this kit. I would say that the beach one was my favorite so far, but this is my second favorite of the two that I have purchased. I love the animals. I love the colors. I love the pattern papers. They are weird. Like it is a different combination of styles in this kit compared to the previous one. But I made it work, and I'm very happy with the end results. I love the dies that you came with it. It was the celebrate, hello, happy birthday, and big thanks, I think it was, or thanks, or something like that. Really cute. It's a really nice addition to my crafting supplies. I was able to get 2 masculine cards out of this, which I thought was pretty impressive because the color scheme was definitely on the pink peachy color scheme, so it was a little bit more challenging. Some of the cards did turn out a little busier than I anticipated, but like I said before, they are all unique and cute on their own. I love each and every single one of them. I'm very proud of the things that I was able to create, and I do hope that you enjoyed them as much as I had creating them. Thank you for joining me today. Maybe it did create some inspiration. I hope you can grab your kits and just go crazy making some awesome, beautiful cards. So until next time, have yourselves a wonderful day and take care. Bye.